Do you have a morning routine?
At the moment, at the current moment, this is full transparency podcast. Full
Yeah, yeah,
transparency, and this is why we're doing this because we do know that not everybody's perfect,
including us.
including us, and that's why we're to really help make us accountable as well. So welcome to the Life Well Lived, Paving Your Own Way to Growth podcast. I am your host, Justin Harris.
And I am your host, Gina Torres. And today I'm going to start with saying I pulled my quad. I'm going
Oh,
to get right
no.
into it, Justin, because I need some help.
Okay.
All right, so let me run through the quick story of how I did this. I'm 30, which is, I mean, that in of itself. No, I'm just kidding. But I actually ended up joining a kickball league after I'd say probably 2 decades of not playing kickball and any sport with the use of my foot other than running. So I got there and I started warming up and I decided to do a couple kicks and I pulled my quad during the warm up.
Wait a minute. Not during the warm up. Wasn't
During
even game
the
time.
freaking warm up. I specifically asked somebody to roll me the ball because I was like, I should probably practice kicking since I haven't kicked in a long time. And then, me who again haven't done any calisthenic or static stretching in probably again over a decade and a half now. Um, I decided to just go and kick a kickball. And the first two times I was good. And then that third time,
Third
immediate
time's the
pull.
charm.
Immediate, just knew it. I was like, yep, I just pulled my quad.
Third time's the charm. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. I
Welcome.
had like the little, the little, the roller. It's like a pole that has like the rolly things on
Yeah.
it with like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
little spikes. I had that. I don't know if I did any damage, more damage or if I did good with it. I tried stretching it, but I was like, I think it's a pull. I don't think it's like a cramp. I think it's a pull, but I don't
Yeah.
know. What's your advice for me?
Okay. Yeah.
I haven't done this in a while,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I
Well,
haven't played sports in a couple years at this point. So, well, definitely not kickball.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. First and foremost, sorry to hear that you're going through this. Okay. Um, I'm legally obligated to say that. No, I'm just kidding. But
wow.
no, no, no. I am. I do. I do. I hate to hear certain injuries like that because it's something you're going out there, you're trying to have some fun, and and then something like this happens. So, whew. So you pulled the quad. You said.
I think it might be a pull.
Hmm.
What do you know what a pull feels like rather than like a not pull? What's the other? It's not a cramp, but like it's a like a tight muscle, right? So is
Yeah,
there like a word for that, or is it?
yeah. Probably you probably just like sprained or strained the muscle. Um, Kind of like just a quick, hey, pull the muscle,
Yeah.
pull the muscle.
Well, that's
Uh,
why I'm like I feel like it's so foreign to me now because I haven't played any like organized sports in so long
yeah.
that I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, high school really was like the last time I ever pulled anything or like
Mm.
got injured because I was
Yeah,
playing every day. But at this point, I'm like, ooh,
yeah. It's
that
it's
doesn't feel good.
yeah. It's almost like if you think about like when we work out and the muscles are those little micro traumas and they're tearing. It's just you kind of just did it rapidly, too fast
Ah,
with that initial because you got to think that you are an athlete. Um, so your body was used to doing something at this specific level to where now if you haven't done it in a while, your body's still like, I'm gonna do it at that level. So it just puts too much pressure,
yeah.
too
That's
much
that's a
force.
great point, and that's like a great way for me to see it, because I was just like, "Oh, you hip flexors like you're so weak," and
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I mean they are, but no, that makes total sense. And I think it is a pull. It feels like my
Hmm.
muscle kind of like pulled, like stretched almost.
Yeah.
Because it's like when I do anything to it, it's not helping it. And especially it's really when I walk forward. So it's like that front, I don't know, anatomy of the body. So you're gonna have to help me out with this one. But it feels like almost going from my hip flexor, like down into like the meat of the quad
Okay.
is where it's like the pull.
Yeah, no, definitely. It probably is just your hip flexor muscle, which is like, well, could be a couple different muscles in there, but definitely the biggest thing would be you don't really want to like stop moving, you know,
Hmm.
icing because it's acute. It's something that just happened. I would do some icing. Um, and then you want to do, believe it or not, some strengthening exercises, just like even just taking a band and doing like leg presses just with the band, you know,
Okay.
doing something like that, opening up the hips. You do want to stretch, but you don't want to overstretch because overstretching, they're already stretching a lot because of
Hmm.
the way that it's pulled. So just some light stretches. Um, and then honestly, core work. So like
Yeah.
like those leg press, you can do um just standing hamstring curls if you have like a band that you can do hamstring curls, or even if you got a small ankle weight, you just do standing hamstring curls. You can do an hamstring um isometric hamstring curl where you just or flexion, I guess, where you just curl and just hold it for 10 to 15 seconds. And just
Okay.
holding your leg up like that with some weight, it's an isometric stretch. It really does help. And then something like a dead bug exercise. You're laying on your
Mm,
back, hands are going up like a dead bug, legs are going up. It's a very big core workout, but
yeah.
that's something that's like not too stressful. It's a good workout. Don't get me wrong. It's a good workout. I don't even know if I'd want to do it right now, but but it really does work with the core. And then just working on the core will help out all of that.
Yeah. I haven't done core in a long time, and I know that I have to really get back into it. Um, but I also, when I hear you say that, because I've been sitting a lot too, and I know that there's a lot of people who
Ooh,
sit just like a lot more than,
yeah.
than we used to, or that we're normally used to.
Hmm.
Because, I'm on the screen all the time, and I'm working on
Yeah.
websites, and I'm working on brand, like, so I'm sitting there, I don't even realize it. And then I get up and I'm like, holy hell. Like I try to open up the hips, but it's hard. Like I definitely feel a difference in my hips from just sitting for a long period of time.
Yeah. What you don't realize when you sit for a long period of time, the muscles actually shorten up. So
Mm,
so they shorten up and they stay that way. And so when you get up and they like elongate, that's where you're like, "Ooh, or my hamstrings are really tight." That's because they've been shortened up because your legs are at the 90 degrees and they've shortened. So when you try to stretch them out, it feels super tight, and then
mm,
that is where a lot of people's back pain comes from. That's why people say, well, I should probably not people, but a lot of chiropractors and they say that sitting is like the new smoking in the sense of
yeah.
like, obviously sitting for too long is not going to give you cancer or anything like that, but
Yeah.
in the effects of like how damaging it can be to your body because when your muscles do tighten up and get shorter like that, it pulls on the hips, misaligns the hips. Next thing you know, you have an imbalance there. Next thing you know, you're having digestive issues because your hips are imbalanced because all those nerves. There's just so much
Mm.
that can go on. Um,
So what you're saying is I need to come to the chiropractor.
it's
Did
not
you
what
just give
I'm.
me, is that a free consultation? Did you just give me a free chiropractic consultation there? Is that
I
a thing?
like. I, yes, it is a thing.
Oh, okay. I learned a lot though just now, to be honest with you, from you,
Yeah,
even just you explaining that. So
no,
thank you.
you're
It's like
welcome.
not something that I do every day or like have to think about anymore. So now getting back into like thinking about like all these words that I used to know, like the anatomy and stuff like that of the body and how it
Exactly.
operates. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. When you sit too long, your muscles shorten. When and then now I go to kick a freaking ball where I'm doing a full leg extension.
Right.
Duh, Gina, like you didn't even stretch before. Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
stupid. It's stupid to look back at and be like, yeah, well, like, duh, anybody would have seen that coming had they
Yeah.
known the full backstory.
And you also have to think about when you are um doing any type of physical activity, it's believe it or not, it's not just about stretching. You have to really make sure your muscles are warm. So
Yeah,
I would actually recommend stretching, doing more calisthenics, like believe it or not, like uh
like high knees
high,
and
yeah,
yeah,
like back in the day when we were on the field, you know, I'm still
yeah,
doing those they're onto something. I tell you.
yeah. No, I agree, and that's why I was like, okay, well, let me like just kick easily with the ball. Like I wasn't
Mhm.
kicking it a lot.
Yeah,
I just it would, but it was a full extension that it wasn't used to, so
yeah.
that's why it pulled.
No, that'll do it. That'll definitely. If
Anyhow.
I tried to pick up a bat right now and swing, let me
The
tell you,
entire back will be pulled out.
be gone. Because sometimes I just do it with my hands, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta chill out for a second here.
Yeah, and like you said, like mentally in our body, like we're still in that like high school, college level
Oh yeah.
athlete phase, right? So when we get back, we're like, yeah, I can watch this. This is going yard. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you just go for it and it's like, yeah, no, okay. Well, I'm gonna be hurt for a while now.
Yeah, a couple years ago when my my brothers they were actually it was sometime during the summer during Christmas when they were off of school we were able to go to a batting cage but they were doing like their winter workouts before they had to go back to school or whatever the case was and I got in there and I was just like yeah I'll take a couple swings and I just took it nice and easy. This had to have been a couple years ago now. Took it nice and easy. I probably didn't take more than 10 or 15 swings, but that next couple days I
Mm.
could not move. I was like, my body is not conditioned for this anymore. What am I doing with myself? I can't even swing a bat. Oh, I was pretty devastated in myself. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's I couldn't I haven't played softball in 3 years. So I can only imagine, especially if I'm trying to kick a kickball. Have you ever tried golf though?
Yes, I have. Well, golf in the sense of I've only gone to the driving range.
Yeah, no, like yeah, that's what oh
Yeah.
yeah, when I think of golf, that's all I think about
Okay.
too. Like have you ever just tried swinging the actual
Yeah.
club? So have you ever been to Top Golf?
Yeah.
So I tried like Top Golf. That was like my first time really ever swinging a golf club. And of course, I get in there similar to how I do softball and just
Hmm.
like try and swing.
Oh yeah.
First of all, missed like every single time because I'm like trying to swing and it's just
Uh,
not connecting with the ball. Second, the day after and probably the week after, my entire body. Oh my God, do you hear them
mm,
fighting? I'm sorry. Hang on.
yeah.
They are fighting right now. I don't know what is going on today.
Not them fighting.
This is crazy. What do I even do with you guys? I don't have anywhere to put them, Justin. I need to lock you guys in somewhere. Go upstairs. Go upstairs. That's all right. We could keep that too.
Shoot. That's life. That's real life right there.
Oh man, my bad. Anyway, sorry, what were we saying? Oh, we were talking about golf.
Golf.
The days after, the week after, I swung that golf club. I shit you not, I could not walk.
Yeah. That'll do it.
Because the harder I swung, because the more I missed, the harder I swung because I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna get this freaking
Pissed.
you're gonna go.
Oh yeah.
Like you're gonna get hit right now.
Hmm.
And the more I tried, the harder I tried to swing, the more I missed, the
Yeah.
more aggravated I got, and then finally, when I hit it as hard as I could, that shit went right. It just whoop, right off the top of the thing. So I just combed like right over the top of
Hmm.
it.
And what pisses you off the most is that it doesn't even register on the screen. And you're
No,
like, you know what? You know what?
I made contact. That was
Exactly.
contact.
Exactly. You
But
got to
now,
look at the wins in life still. You
yeah,
still got to
listen.
look at the wins.
But now I'm swinging the shit out of the ball.
See? It's persistence, perseverance. You got to keep doing it.
All the above.
All the
I
above.
don't know what's going on with my animals today, but they are fucking shit up over here.
They just know. They're like, listen, it's
They
podcast day.
are they are creating havoc. My bad. My
They
bad.
they
My
said
bad.
they said this is our chance to shine for the pod.
Hashtag animals for the pod.
Animals for the pod. Oh man.
Oh man. Well, I had to get off on that little story because I am in pain and I feel like there's a lot of people who try to get back into sports after not doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And I would like to just send them a gentle reminder to do their calisthenic stretches and
Hmm.
to warm up before their games. Because when we go to these things in our 30s and even 20s, we forget and our body doesn't.
No, no.
So,
Our bodies, our bodies are something else. And let me tell you, the older we get, things just hit you different. I've
yeah.
been down and out with the flu for 4 days.
Mm.
And quite frankly, just to be real with you guys, wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to record today. And message Gina was like, listen, I've had the flu. I don't even know about today. This is before I even spoke. So I got up and I just said, whew. And I said, wait a minute now. That sounded better
Hold
than
up.
yesterday.
Wait a minute.
That sounded better than yesterday. We're gonna have to do this thing for the pod for everybody out there. So we're at it. We're ready to go.
How
Got
do
the
we
coffee
even
as always.
how do we even get the flu in Florida? Like, isn't that a cold state thing? Like, why?
What
Why do we have the flu in
what
Florida?
is
Like, I
going
know it's
on?
like microbiology and like that biology level, but
Yeah.
I'm
You
I'm
know?
but I'm kind of serious. So it's like the flu is supposed to be a cold state thing. How are we
Yeah,
getting
we
this shit
we should
here?
not we should not be getting this. Especially we should not be getting this. I don't really know. I don't even remember really doing much of anything. All of a sudden, I'm like, where did I go? Working back. Nobody's been sick at work. I just been
Yeah.
chilling, and here I am sick. Ugh.
And that's the worst thing about getting sick is like you really can't pinpoint it, especially now with like the different strains of COVID and like the
Yeah,
different strains of the flu. It's like you could be around somebody who doesn't have any symptoms and still get sick. So it's
yeah.
like you never know.
You just don't.
It's
You just
crazy.
don't. It's through the air. It's everywhere on things that it's. I'm not here to try to freak anybody out. So let's go
Yeah.
ahead.
Anyhow, our
Anyway,
topic of today
yes. Let's
is
get right
going
in.
to be our topic of today is going to be how we currently define success and how that's changed over the years.
Hmm.
I actually recently went back to New York to be on a panel, and they asked me this question, and it was something that just kind of it really made me think because I don't really think I ever truly knew what my version of success was. Oh my God, it's like hard for me to speak today. Um,
The 30s.
I don't really think that I ever truly thought about what my version of success was and like
Mm.
how I've seen it and how it's changed. So I was like, Justin, hey, let's talk about that today because unless you are really thinking about these questions, I feel like we kind of just go through life and we don't really take the time
Yeah.
to sit there and be like, what do I think of as success, like in my book?
Right.
So.
So, with that being said, what start with what was your version of success before?
Well, so I think growing up, not coming from, a whole lot and seeing, of course, like you see things on mainstream media and
Hmm.
all of these celebrities that have the nice cars, the nice clothes, the bags, the tangible like material things.
Yeah.
So I always associated success with having it all, having the car, having the mansion, having the nice clothes, like you know, all the above, right? And I feel like that's what a lot of people associate that with because that's what they see.
Right.
Um, so that was like my version growing up. And when I really thought about this question, it became success is not like a destination for me.
Hmm.
I feel like there are multiple successes and you get to multiple success levels for yourself, like depending on um, what you want to do, maybe at that point, what your goals are. You have these successes throughout life, but today it really means having a choice. So for me, having a choice of whether, I want to work, whether I, want to get up and go do something, or whether I want to lay in bed. It's listening to
Yeah.
my body. It's having the ability to do those things.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when they're in fight or flight mode, they kind of have to do those things. So just being able to like have the ability to have that choice, I feel like is like my current version of success. And that may change, right, down the road, but that to me is and being able to eat clean, like eating good food, whole food, getting to choose where that food comes from, like the choice in everything. So not just, okay, well, do I want to work or do I want to? Can I pick up and go to a flight to New York if I wanted to? Like that's a version of success to me because I've gotten to a point financially, a mindset that is, something where I am malleable. I can take those lessons and pivots and still be like, take something from them. So that's kind of, I think, my current version of success.
That's
Ask me in 3 years though, it might change.
Yeah, no, no, for sure. It's definitely, and I think just hearing that, it really, you think about everybody's different version of success. So I do think a lot of people start with that very first initial, like, oh, success is having the fame, the money, the cars, the clothes, everything. A lot of people start there just because that's where people, so social media, that's what
Yeah.
social media takes you to, because all the influencers, which not all influencers, but there are a lot that they're just posing on yachts, or they're posing next to the big cars, and they have these glamorous just lifestyles that we just all wish we want or wish we
Yeah.
had. And it's not a bad thing to want that either. Like if that's your version of success, then that's your version of success. So I can agree that that's kind of where I was at years ago as well. I thought that I wanted to have a career to where I made a whole crap ton of money,
Hmm.
and that's I and I was serious. Like that I'd be successful if I made a whole crap ton of money. But over the years it has changed, and I think obviously I've done a lot of growing in that time, but it was more about me diving deeper into why I wanted all the money and the success, you know. So,
There it is.
so, so it was really diving deeper. I really wanted all that money because I wanted to really change the lives of people around me, and they can't do that without money. So my
Hmm.
version of success is like how many people that I could affect, how many people's lives I could change. Um, to be totally honest, even if it's just one person, if I
Yeah.
changed one person's life in the positive way, I call that a success. I think I'm pretty successful. And going back to the money, it was more of because, like, okay, growing up, I saw how my mom, my grandma, I saw how just everybody, my dad would struggle,
Hmm.
just family around me. And I was like, I need to make this money. I need to make this money so that we can get out of here and we can do anything and everything that we want so that they could finish off their life having an excellent life, without having to worry about me or anybody else for that matter. So I think that's really where I saw myself. And if you look up the definition of success, it doesn't say anything about money or fame or
Hmm.
anything. It's the accomplishment of a purpose. So it's really taking your purpose and are you working towards accomplishing your purpose? And that's really what success is.
Oh, no, I love that. And yeah, I've actually never looked up the definition of success either. I don't think I mean, I've probably like, but never actively like looked it up to be like, hey, what is this? Right. So Thank you for that. And yeah, boiling down to the financial piece, like a lot of people think that they need so much money to be successful. Or and that's like part of what my thing was. It's like I want like fuck you money, right? Like I'm like if I'm gonna be
Yeah.
successful, like I want a yeah, I want a this, I wanted that. And as I grew to be like in the mindset and the space that I am now, A, protect my energy. Like that is first and foremost,
Oh
is
yeah.
protecting the energy, right? Because that goes along with my mindset and that goes along with how I feel and how I eat and
Hmm.
that's kind of what it boils down to. So when I
Hmm.
say having a choice, yes, money is always a factor, but I think of money as disposable because as soon as it comes, it's not meant like for us. It's meant for us to use as a tool,
Right.
right? But once I learned how to grow my own food and like to do things that actually matter, like if we have an apocalypse tomorrow, money ain't gonna mean shit, you
Mm-mm.
know? It's gonna be about, yeah, it's gonna be about how you're able to think about doing things, building things. Are you
Hmm.
able to survive? Do you know how to make clean water? Do you know how to build relationships? Like those are all the things that actually matter. And I wish that we could have a society that doesn't really have such a focus on money because it really isn't it's just a tool. And I
Yeah.
think once I had the
Yeah.
perspective of it's just a tool rather than relying so much on it for happiness and like to get the things that I wanted and needed, those things just became like the bare basic things and it
Yeah.
really was like, do I have clean water? Yes. Do I have food to eat? Yes. Okay. Do I have a place where I'm happy in an environment? Do I have people around me who are, matching my energy, that aren't bringing me down, that are it's the same vibration, who are doing things like that want more to life?
Hmm.
That's that is success to me. And
Yeah.
then having a choice to, okay, do can I do this stuff? Yes. All right. Well, I'm good. And we all have a choice. So y'all are all successful in your own ways.
Yeah.
And I would encourage everybody to define their versions of success and see how it changes. One of the things I love to do is write letters to myself in the current space that I am now, so
Mm.
that I can look back at it and
Mm.
in a couple years to be like, where was I in that mindset? Like, where was my mindset then?
Yeah. Which
And you
actually
can see.
brings, oh, sorry, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna see, and then you can see how much you've grown and what your successes were then, and
Yeah.
what they are now.
So I was actually reading something the other day about success in preparation, you know. So
I was gonna say you didn't do that organically, Justin.
you got me. No, in preparation. And I really wanted to see like if we're gonna talk about success, I need to have some tangible things that people can hear of like what successful people what successful people in their field do on a daily basis. So I was looking up what kind of like some top things, and one of them was actually reflecting. So
Hmm.
the top successful people actually do like some sort of reflection every day, and it's like journaling, um, which is writing down, just writing down what they did for the day or any thoughts that come to mind. That's a very big reflective tool that I think people underutilize, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other one was a vision board. So obviously, you're not going to just create a vision board every single day, but if you make the vision board and then even put it up on your anywhere, somewhere that you can see it, so that you can go back to it and reflect on it every day and take a look at it. So I think that just tied in really well to, you
Yeah.
say you write down and you can kind of go back to it. Well, that's a reflective exercise. So you're on the
Yeah.
way. You're on the way. And
Yeah, I reflect all the time, and it's so important to also like I'm a huge pen to paper person. Like
mhm,
obviously any way that you can get your thoughts out, if you choose to type, then that's totally, but I
yeah.
feel like there is nothing more like better to release thoughts than pen to paper and actively like writing it out. It's kind of like writing it out of your brain, right? So if you're the type of person like I am who constantly like I'm an entrepreneur, right?
Mhm.
I am my brain is always going. 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up and I'll be like, shit, I forgot to email so and so. Like, right?
Yeah.
It's so if I don't get it out of my head, it will wake me up and
Yeah.
it will keep me going, like to thinking. So I'm a
No.
huge pen to paper type of person.
Yeah. And fun fact. Well, I guess it doesn't have to do with pen and paper, but it kind of does. It kind of does. It popped into my brain, and I thought this was a great like learning tool. So when we are actually not just reading and writing, but like if we're reading out loud. So if you're
Mhm.
writing down and you're reading it out loud, you're actually working on the left side of your brain to help
Mm.
like build and get that type of connection for the left side of your brain. So it's actually a very good neuro exercise, I guess you could say, is to like if you're writing and journaling, go back, reflect on it, and read some of it out loud, and you're working on a part of your brain.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting too, because I feel like that would probably help with affirmations and manifestation. And I just want to point out, because a lot of people are talking about manifestation, and it's like, if I write down, it's going to happen. It's like part of that is true,
Yeah,
but you also need to like A, believe in what you're saying. You can't just say, I'm going to have $1 million next month.
yeah,
Like, come on. Come
yeah,
on. Like
yeah,
they have to be realistic manifestations, but you also need to do the work in order to do so. So if you
mhm,
put something on pen and paper, or if you're writing something down, you actually have to like make action towards those as well. And
yeah,
writing those down are supposed to help you consistently remind yourself and put it out to the universe and attract the things, but you have to be A, open to receiving it. B,
yeah,
you have to actively like take motion towards those things and do things. So can't say, yeah, I want to lose 100 pounds and then not do any exercise or not, clear out a lot, like any of the stuff going on, or
right,
not deal with like your relationship problems or whatever is going on. Like you actively have to have a part in this.
yeah,
And I just wanted to say that because there's a lot of people who talk about manifestation. And I absolutely think that it is something that we should all be doing to, put forth the life that we want to live.
yeah.
But it's not just a pen on paper sort of thing.
No, no, and I want to expand on that too because when people do, for example, I can write down on paper all day that I want to be the number one, the top charting singer in the world. I cannot sing. I can't sing. So unfortunately, it's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? So it does have to be, and when you're writing that stuff down, those are goals that you're writing down if it's something like that. So if you really think about it, but a goal should be a smart goal. And this is something that I'm learning in my life coaching class is smart. So it's got to be specific. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be attainable. It's got to be realistic and it's got to be time bound. So you have to have
Hmm.
all those different factors to actually have a goal. So specific in being like, I want to lose, you mentioned losing 100 pounds, but it's like, okay, everybody wants to do that. You have to be specific. So I want to lose 100 pounds by January so that I can be able to run with my kids. Boom, specific, you
Hmm.
know, so, like you have to be that specific. And then it's got to be realistic. Like I said, if I can't sing, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to be able to be a top charting singer as much as I want to be. You know, I'm not
Well,
saying
I
I
guess
can't do
now
it
you don't
next.
really need to be able to sing at this point. They got so many different. So if you actually want to be
Wait a
a
minute
singer,
now. Don't let me download auto tune tomorrow. Shoot.
Uh, but yeah, no, and I think you pointed out something that's extremely important in these manifestations is your why. In your example, you say, I want to lose 100 pounds by, X time because I want to be able to run with my kids. That why is something, it's called your internal driver. If
Oh
we don't
yeah,
have that, it ain't happening.
exactly.
Because there are so many of my clients that say the first thing they say to me, I want to make 100 grand a year. Okay. That's a great number. Why do you
Yeah,
want to do that? And a lot of people put so much stress on money itself when it's like you don't really need all that money. You can live very, very happily, very, very comfortably
yeah,
with not a lot of money. Obviously, money is great, but like putting the money first is where a lot of people get, confused in all of the manifestation and all of the um dream seeking aspirations, because
Exactly.
instead of fueling what you are meant to do, your calling, your purpose, your internal driver, you are going for the money, which it doesn't matter how much money you make, you're never going to be truly happy.
No.
And that is the biggest issue with a lot of people who are looking for that happiness. They think it's tied to money. It's not. It's what makes you feel fulfilled. So if that
Yeah.
means that you feel fulfilled doing something like, planting flower beds, how can we make you money doing that? And there's a
Yeah.
way to do everything. There's YouTube, there's seminars, there's classes, there's courses you can make. Like there's money doing everything.
Yeah.
So I really just want to stress. I know I'm going off on a little side note here, but I want to stress because I really do deal with this every single day with with all my clients.
Yeah.
You can literally make money doing anything. So why not make it doing something that you actually love, feel fulfilled with, and is going to like connect you to your purpose here.
Yeah. And
That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah. No, I think that great, excellent point that I would like to stress as well, because like if you don't have your why, if you don't have, that's why a lot of people fail. That's also why a lot of people fail, because they don't really have that why backing behind it. And then they just kind of let it go, because there's like one important question that I like to ask people is like, if you obtain whatever it is you want to do, if you do it, how will that change your life? And two, like what are you actually willing to give up to obtain that? If you're
Hmm.
not willing to give up most of what, like, listen, this is something I'm passionate about. I'm willing to give up everything to achieve this because I think this is going to help this and this. If you're not willing to do that, if it's only money and you're like, well, I mean, I'm not really willing to give up too much, then it's like, well, then obviously that's not what you really truly want. You really have to find that passion. You really have to find what that, like, that internal driver, that internal why, and then you'll understand more. I know that's not on the topic of what we're talking about today, but it is a very important thing to really grasp.
Yeah, but I mean that's a version of your success, and that should always be in your version of success is your internal driver
Yeah,
and your thought process with going through all this stuff,
yeah,
because again, if you don't have that, you're never going to feel successful. Like,
yeah,
and it's not
mm,
ever going to get you to a point where you like feel comfortable in life, because you're always going to be trying to chase something, again, whether it's money, something tangible, and if you don't have that, then you don't have success. Like,
exactly.
is somebody meant to be on this earth to literally just buy a Gucci bag? Like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that's anybody's purpose.
No,
Like, I'm sorry, I might be biased here, but I don't think anybody was brought to this earth for the sole purpose that they are buying a Gucci bag.
exactly. Nope, you
So,
ain't wrong.
that's
Yeah,
all I got to say on
yeah,
it.
no, yeah.
And
Going.
yeah.
Sorry,
You want me to go? You want to go?
you go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. Just to like sum everything up and to give you guys something like tangible that you can actually take away from this conversation of things that you can put into practice today. One, calisthenic stretching
Yeah,
before any physical workouts. Okay. So if you are writing down, you're manifesting that you want to be a marathon runner, I'm gonna need you to warm up first, okay?
yeah. Please do. Please.
Second, I really encourage people to write themselves letters to your future self saying
Mhm.
what is going on in in your current day, in your current life, the people who are around you, the emotions you're experiencing, all those things. That is one of the main things that got me through the academy, because it was such a hard time for me. And when I started the academy, I had never been to therapy. I went to therapy before I started because I was like, I know this is going to change me. I don't know how, but I at least want to have somebody who I can talk to that's a safe space, and who knows what I'm like before the academy and who knows what I'm like when I get out, so that I can actually have that conversation of how you did change and how I can deal with that, right? Because
Yeah.
I did become a totally different person. Um, so writing yourself a letter to your future self, and then, I put a timer, I put a thing on my calendar every 2 years, and I read those letters because I want to see how much change I've actually
Ooh,
had. So I have like a bucket that I put them all in, and I fold them up, and then I'll just pick them out and I'll read them and I'll be like, wow. like this is what was going on. And it just
Mm.
helps kind of see the growth, and it helps see like where you're at, whether it was a good place, whether it was a bad place. Sometimes if I'm going through it, I'll pick out a random letter and I'll be like, this is exactly what I needed to hear today.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's you
Mhm.
talking to you, and it's just
Exactly.
a different space and time, which is just absolutely like mind-blowing to me. It's something so simple, but it's literally like a time capsule that you have of yourself.
I might actually want to, if you don't mind, I kind of want to incorporate that into some of my life coaching clients, even because a lot
Absolutely.
of them will put they'll say, oh, and I think I can reach this in 6 months. Like, okay. So in the beginning, once they give me that goal, I might say, okay, so today let's write a letter to yourself for 6 months down the road. Where do you see yourself? I want you to envision what success is for you. And then just kind of go through a couple different things. And then in 6 months at the end, I'm like, okay, let's open up that letter and let's see where we are versus where you were versus where you envisioned and what this letter says. I think that would be a really great reflective. I think that would be great. And that would put a lot of people's minds, they'll be like, oh my gosh, this is where I thought I was going to be. And actually, I'm not there, but why? Then we could dive
Yeah.
that, or like, wow, I've gotten way past that. I actually thought less of myself than I really was able to perform, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
I might, oh man.
You absolutely should. Please take it.
Yeah.
It literally has gotten me through so much. And when I started doing it, it's like it's so cool to read in 2 years. Like, I mean, again, I sometimes I'll do it earlier, but every
Yeah.
2 years I try and go in that bucket and I'll read like what happened. And it's just a way because life gets so busy. So like taking the time to actually write like what are my current emotions? And I would encourage your clients if that's like part of it, like what are they currently feeling?
Mm,
Who's around them? Right? Because there's some people who were around me and who I
yeah.
lost, right, as friends or people who are no longer living.
Yeah.
It allows me to kind of put myself back in that place where I was in that moment, whether good or bad. But if
Yeah.
there's healing that I need to do there, then there's healing that I need to do there. Or if I
Exactly.
can look at that letter and say, man, what a great time we had, or man, I think I need to spend some time here for a second and just sit and feel these emotions that I'm feeling. Because some of the letters are really, really good, and some of the letters are really, really bad.
Yeah.
So just having that and having it be a consistent practice too. Like I know that you want to do like a start to finish, but even them writing like just kind of consistently like what they currently are, what they're feeling, so that
Right.
they can see is there any trend, right? If is
Right.
there any are there any relationships or friendships that I have that are negative or positive that I feel really good after?
Hmm.
And that's kind of where you can piece things together and say, oh, all right, I don't think this relationship is really good for me because I'm always writing about how I'm feeling X after I meet this person.
Yeah.
Or um, I'm really, I really love being around this person. Maybe I should do more, think of different things that I can do. So there's just a lot there that you can uncover throughout this journey in your life,
Yeah.
and a lot of useful tools. So by any means, please use
Yeah.
it. I
And
would love
then
to know how it ends up for them
I was gonna
and how
say,
they.
I know we'll still be doing this podcast in 6 months to a year till forever. So like, I definitely will.
We should write starting today our letters and read them 6 months from if you're comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm comfortable. This will be great. Listen,
Okay.
if you're
All
if you're
right.
if you're if you're just stuck in your comfortable space, then you're not growing. So
Yeah.
like we have to get uncomfortable. So I'm definitely down to write this letter, and then 6 months time,
Let's
I'm
do it.
or six how long? 6 months?
Yeah, let's do 6 months
Six
because
months?
that gives us, yeah.
Writing some things down. Whoo, that's exciting.
Yeah, and then
That's
so we'll read it live
yeah,
on as long as again I'm an open book, so
yeah,
people know for me I'll freaking do anything. I don't care.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm down.
So
I'm
if
super
you're
comfortable.
okay, all right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun.
that would
And
be.
again, for our listeners, we really encourage you to do the same. And, 6 months down the road, we'll send you a reminder to look at that letter.
Yeah.
And if there's any parts of it that you do feel like sharing or that want us to hear, then we would love to either have you on to share or if you'd like to send us in an email.
Ooh.
Um, but we would love to know how, if you ended up doing the exercise, how it impacted you, and um, if there's any difference, like,
Yeah.
or if what your life is like compared to what it was
Yeah, that would be
6 months
great.
ago.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. So before I know listen, when we get into it, we get into it. So I know before we get to the tail end of the podcast today, there are a couple last things on success that I wanted to really touch upon. Um, and that was some more of the list that I brought up before, about what the top successful people do. And
Mm,
I wanted to bring it up because the one big thing was reading. And I know for me, I don't do this as much as I should. And it's really simple because they were saying it was like 88% of the wealthy, they're talking about wealth, but this is their version of success. Like I said,
yep.
everybody's version of success is different. 88% of the top wealthiest people actually read for about 30 minutes a day, just like some sort of self-improvement, but only
Mhm.
30 minutes. You know what I mean? If I could just carve out 30 minutes of my time to read some self-improvement and to kind of work towards that level of success, I'm I'm happy. I think that's doable. Um, and then another thing is just solidifying a simple morning routine.
Mhm.
And that's it. A lot of people wake up, brush their teeth, make their bed. Um, but that's kind of like, if you think about it, more of the standard. Um, but it's about kind of like really establishing a really good routine, whether that's wake up, brush your teeth, make your bed, but you're getting up before work with enough time to sit there and do a journal entry to reflect on the week before or the day before or whatever the case is. Meditate for 10, 15 minutes or even 5 minutes, however long.
Mhm.
Go for a walk your animals or whatever the case is. And it's really about building those habits. And I even think those habits start the night before, so like preparing for the next day the night before. And that's just as simple as, kind of like I mentioned before, just taking a sticky note, putting on what you really want to accomplish in the morning on the mirror or right near the sink where you brush your teeth. Like today, I want to journal for 10 minutes before work. Get up, brush your teeth. You see the sticky note, like, ooh, I got a journal. So, it gets you in that mindset. And just those three things. So, reading 30 minutes a day, building successful habits, having a solid morning routine, and then just reflecting every day. Those are the top three things that I do think um, can really help to to create success.
Yeah. Do you have a morning routine?
At the moment, at the current moment, this is full transparency podcast. Full
Yeah, yeah.
transparency, and this is why we're doing this, because we do know that not everybody's perfect, um,
Including us.
including us, and that's why we're to really help make us accountable as well. So at the moment, I don't. Besides the standard, um, I don't, and I need to. And I
And that's
mentioned
okay.
about the journaling in the morning because I really want. That's what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
That was a goal of mine, is to get up with enough time to just to write a couple things down in the morning. And it's I guess it's time to start. I guess it's
There you
time to
go.
start.
We're gonna start with that letter. I'll tell
Yeah,
you that.
exactly, exactly, exactly with that
I
one.
do have a routine. And just to kind of side note on this, I used to have a routine where I woke up at 4:30 and like I would start my day then and I was like super hyper focused. I would just like crazy. I would
Yeah.
go to the gym, I would come back, meditate, like it was a whole thing. I am at the point I've kind of transitioned a little bit to I like slower mornings now.
Okay.
So It's not all the hustle and bustle that I did for, those many years. It's now, okay, I wake up a little bit later. I take the dogs for a walk. I meditate, and then if I go to the gym or I go to the gym at night instead, then I'll do, my journaling or reflection and
Right.
those sort of thing. So again, there's no one way of doing things. There's going to be a lot of people who say you're not going to be successful unless you wake up at 4 a.m.
Hmm.
Not true. Okay. Again, it's all where you are and what your current goals are,
Yeah,
what you want to do, what you want to be, all those things. So don't let anybody tell you what exactly, you need to do for your life, but you do need to have some idea of what you're measuring so that you can say, all right, am I at this point? Am I not? What do I have to do to get there?
exactly. Exactly. So, um, I think what you mentioned before about like they say you have to be successful if you wake up early. I think there's this one thing called the 5 a.m. club to where
Hmm.
like, they're saying like again, talk about the top successful people wake up before 5 a.m. or before 6 a.m. And I think the only reason is that is because obviously the typical workday doesn't start yet. So with that being said, um, it's more about like how you prepare, how you do things throughout that day or throughout
Hmm.
with that time. You know what I'm saying? If you are able to manage that time well, then then I don't think, or if you could create time, if you can make time later on in the day to really get done what you need to get done, then I think it's the kind of the same concept.
Yeah, and trust me, there is nothing more peaceful than being awake at 5 a.m. because there is no one awake. And if there is, they're on that same mentality, they're on that same clock as you. They're all right, it's grind time. I'm here like I'm getting myself in a position that I need to in order to be my version of success. So again, I still think of myself as very successful, even though I don't wake up necessarily at 5 a.m. anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and sometimes I go back and forth, right? Like it doesn't need to be something that I absolutely need to do every day, but sometimes I do wake up at 5 a.m. and I want to get an early start and do that. And that's totally fine too. My main point is just you have to do what's best for you, no matter at what stage you're at. If you want to get to the 5 a.m., then absolutely. But if you don't, there's other ways to be successful and there's other ways to find time throughout the day. So that's what I'll
Absolutely.
leave y'all with. Um, I appreciate you all listening to our rants today, and
Yes.
hopefully there was some information that you're able to take. We really encourage you to do this 6 months letter. This is kind of something we came up with on the spot, but
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. And we
Definitely.
will put a timer on it to read it in 6 months, that we will read you our letters.
Yes, thank you so much. So, the last thing before we close out for today is I did get some feedback, not necessarily feedback, but more somebody writing in saying what they would like to hear on the podcast next. So I think it really ties into what we were actually talking about today, and it was talking about maintaining friendships in our 30s and how do we not only maintain, but how do we make new friendships when everybody is so busy with what's going on in life? So I
Yeah.
definitely be on the lookout for the next podcast because we there's some stuff to talk about on that topic. I definitely would like to dive into.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's going to be a fun one. I might need to prep some notes for this
Yeah,
one and meditate before we do this episode.
yeah, no, absolutely. So, what we'll do, kind of like always, we'll definitely encourage everybody to go to the social media that we have at the Life Well Live podcast, on Facebook, on Instagram. We actually do now have Twitter. We have TikTok. There's a couple different things going on to where we're going to post different polls and things to keep you guys engaged. And we would definitely love to hear back from each and every one of you on not only topics that we've discussed, questions that you may have, obviously any comments, questions, or concerns, or you just want to chat and you just want to, give your thoughts on the podcast. Uh, I
Yeah,
think
get
that'd be
us while
great.
we're available.
Yeah, exactly. So again, post those questions, and then uh, kind of like that with in 6 months when we read these letters, if you guys post and you let us know, we can even get you on if you're comfortable to talk about that. So I think we got a lot of good things coming for you guys.
Yeah,
We can't wait to hear from each and every one of you. Again, if you want to reach out to us, reach us at the Life Well Lived podcast at gmail.com or Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all social media.
absolutely. Thank you guys and have an amazing, amazing, amazing day, amazing week. And we will talk to you soon.
Take care, guys.